What is up, everybody? Welcome to Thursday's edition of Morning Cuppa Hockey. Alongside Colby, Cohen, and Cole Eiserman, I'm Jonny Lazarus. We are presented by Betway. If you're going to place a bet on Betway. Please play responsibly. And remember, you must be 19 years of age or older. We're going to get right into it right now. As you can tell, I don't know if my voice sounds worse or better.
Worse.
Is it worse?
Worse.
It feels better, though, than yesterday.
It sounds worse.
Okay. He's going to give me shit the whole
you
show.
Look worse.
You guys know how it goes.
We did have dinner together last night in a group dinner, and the minute dinner was over, I said, Jonny, you're going to go to that place, and we're going to go somewhere on the other side of the casino. I got my fix of Jonny Laz last night.
It was a good night, though. Good night. But Cole's first time here in Vegas, correct?
Yes, first time.
17-year-old in Las Vegas, getting ready for the NHL Draft.
Yep.
What the hell is going through your mind today?
A lot of
Pumped to be on the show, obviously.
Got some fun stuff to do, but mostly it's just kind of following my brothers around and letting them kind of have the fun. And I kind of just, wait for tomorrow. So.
How many family members do you have here this week? Because, we've been talking a lot about this, and there's a lot of conversation right now about how the draft is going to be not centralized next year. The teams are going to be in different places. But one of the, I think, greatest parts of the draft is when you're just running into people, right? You bring a big conglomerate of family here, but it's just crazy spread out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy, especially when it's here and super, I think, well put together too here. And it's a lot of family and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So
tell us about your brothers a little bit, because you guys kind of touch the entire spectrum of ages and careers and professions.
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 older brothers, all played college hockey, and now they one of them has 2 kids, and the other now they're just following, seeing what I'm doing, and that's kind of all they do. But then I got a twin brother, 14 years later, got twins. That's kind of tough one. But,
the double loop.
Exactly.
The double loop
on purpose.
In the Eiserman family.
Exactly. But obviously I'll be going to BU and he'll be at UNH cheering against me. So that'd be pretty funny. So
we hear there are some UNH ties in the family.
Yeah.
Was it somewhat of a conflict when you chose BU?
No, he loved UNH and
older brother too, right?
Older brother. Yeah. He played at UNH, but he let me do it.
Jonny, let me let you in on a little Boston secret here.
Okay.
Most of the guys that go to UNH, they go there because BU didn't have room for them. No offense to your brother. That's usually how you end up at UNH if BU doesn't quite have the scholarship to come up with it. So I'm sure they were happy to see Cole. They'll be happy to see Cole at Agganis Arena. I know I'll be happy to see Cole at Agganis Arena. And what's hysterical to me is that, the relationship between you and Macklin Celebrini has been very well documented. You guys are best buds. And the day Macklin Celebrini commits to BU, I talking to the coaches, Joe Pereira, associate head coach, a guy I'm sure has called you at least 4,000 times in your life. I call him up and I'm like so excited to get Macklin Celebrini, and he has a bad attitude about it. He's like, now we got to get Cole Eiserman. It was the first thing he said to me.
We're that close.
When Macklin commits, he's like, now we need the other guy. It's not done until we get both. Well, BU got both, but it doesn't look like you guys are going to get to play together at BU.
Oh, I'm still on him. Still trying to get after him, but it'd be pretty fun if we did. That's kind of what I dreamt of, and hopefully we cross paths at some point. So,
have you guys been hanging out at all here? Or
I was with them all yesterday. My dad ran into his dad and his brother, and it was just a little reunion with them, and I was with them all yesterday. And it was kind of
just trying to stay cool, calm, collected.
Yeah, exactly.
But which hotel here is your family staying in? Caesar's Palace or what?
It's by the Venetian. Yeah.
60 plus family members. You said, right?
Any travel issues coming down?
No. I thought we had a lot yesterday. We got way more people coming tonight. So should be a fun time.
I remember last year there were a lot of stories of the first round picks, like family members couldn't get on a flight to Nashville. They were vanning down from Jersey and stuff.
Yeah, we actually had no problem, so it's good.
That's good. Nice.
So what's this been like for you? And starting with the combine, what's this whole process been like for you? Because I feel like every guy has a little bit of a different path.
Yeah.
Some guys have more meetings than others. I think you're a big topic here. And I think, I don't think anybody would be surprised to hear your name in the top 5. I think, people have said for your name around 9 or 10. So, there's a little bit of wiggle room, but what's the experience been like meeting with all these teams? Have you met with the guys who are drafting in the first 5 picks? Do you have any expectations on that type of stuff?
I've met with a good kind of, a lot of teams and a lot of different needs that they have. And it's kind of just showing my personality a little bit, kind of showing what they don't see, with the cage on. And that's kind of like what I've enjoyed the most is kind of, just making them see who I am. And hopefully that helps me. And I think that does. But it's been a blast. Like, this is what I dreamt of. And so I can't really complain. So.
What's been the weirdest question you've gotten from the team this week? Because
I'll top it.
Things are, well, you could just ignore him when he gets to that point, but I do it all the time. Don't worry. I try to tune him out as best as I can every morning on the show. But I mean, I think I saw some stories coming out of the combine that they were asking to see you guys Snapchat scores or something like that.
Oh, I saw that
anything weird?
That was that one, and like an Uber rating. I've never Ubered in my life.
Really?
Yeah, I don't Uber.
No, what do you do?
Lyft?
My brother's Uber for me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't have a rating, and I was like, I don't know.
So you do not have an Uber rating?
Yeah. I do not. No.
Do you have an account?
Yeah, I have an account.
Okay,
but I've never used it.
All right, wow, but that'll change going to school in Boston, unless
or
you're bringing
scooter.
Unless you're bringing them to chauffeur you around, maybe. Okay, all right, I like it.
They'd actually do that. So
kind of sticking with the weird theme though. Is it weird having people? No, I'm not even asking a weird one. Well, shut up. Is it weird having people talk about you a lot? Like, because listen, I never went through the draft process, so I don't know what it's like to turn on my TV and hear my name being talked about. But like, you turn on TSN, like Bob McKenzie's talking about you, all these people talking about you. Like, that's got to be a little bit of a weird
Everyone's talking about you today because of your performance last night at the bar. So you people are talking about you.
I didn't talk to one girl. Zero.
And he's
locked in.
And he's bragging about.
I had a show today, man. I was locked in. I'm for you.
Locked in, yeah. I don't know.
What are you doing?
You gotta do that.
Working.
How many martinis do you have last night?
Don't worry about it.
Answer the question, Cole. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Weird people talking about you.
No, I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, I was the weirdest one. I think was I was watching the men's worlds, and they talked about the record with Caulfield, and I was like just watching with my brother, and like they said my name, and I was like,
oh shit,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely kind of weird at first, but super enjoyable, and I can't complain.
When you got the goal scoring record, and I mean, you look at the names on that list: Austin Matthews, you got Kaner. I mean, there's like pretty elite company with that group. And then obviously there's some of the newer, younger guys, Hughes and whatnot. But you see your name on that list with those guys. I mean, that's got to be a pretty good feeling. I mean, that's not just hockey players. That's hockey royalty in this country, in this league, in this world, really.
Yeah. No, it's super cool. And when I went to the pro, I never thought that would happen. And, but I think my parents and my brothers enjoy it a lot more than I do, and probably see it better than I do. So, but it's super cool, and I'm super humbled to have it and see my name there. So,
I want to challenge you a bit here.
Okay, that's fine.
I try to rephrase that in my brain. So I know now you said it. People talk about you. You heard it. Is there any misconceptions about Cole Eiserman, and if so, what would that be?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, you hear the questions about my game, and people always have opinions, and it's something I can't control. But I kind of just like to, just listen to my coaches, listen to my teammates, see what they want, and obviously, I think I'm a little better defensively than I probably get given.
I'm hearing this one-dimensional talk, man.
Given the credit for, but hey, I'm a shooter, and that's what I enjoy to do. But I'm definitely still trying to get better at everything. But I definitely I think I could block a few more shots.
We'll have to.
I'm given for, so
I have the stats a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at BU, the pause.
I need to get
the pause. You don't want
to
have a helmet that has no pause on it. So at BU, if you ever watch a BU hockey game, you'll notice the players have the little white stickers on their helmets, and you get that for great defensive play or a block shot, like a big block shot. And so you don't want to be the guy that at semester has like one paw on his helmet.
No, right? I'm gonna have paws.
You're going for the paws. All right,
Vic, let's pull up a picture of Colby's helmet if we can find one on Google. And
I always had a D.
My
paws were not from great defensive plays, but I would at 6'4", I would
luck you
luck my way into blocking shots. Where I would be doing the flamingo.
Does off the stick count too, or not?
It depends how good the stick was. That could be a great defensive play, right?
True.
And it's funny because most of the times, guys, they would put some video behind that back in the day. Jack Barker was a little old school. I don't think Pando and Joe do this now, and like if a guy had a bad flamingo, like it would be on the film. And the guys that would be sitting in the film room.
I've never been a flamingo.
Just howling, laughing at it.
Never. No,
it's like this, right?
Yeah. Well, listen,
I do like eating shots.
A smart player sees the shot coming in, and then they leave the zone because they know that next pass could be a breakaway pass, right? So.
probably shouldn't say that, but
I said a smart player.
Yeah,
Come
smart
on.
player.
yeah.
Hockey IQ over here. Thinking it.
Is that something though that has come up with teams? Like, have they asked you point blank about that kind of thing? I mean,
Yeah.
which again, I think you guys always had the puck. When I watch your U18 team, you guys look like the Harlem Globetrotters at times. You know, your power play, your 5-on-5, your line. I mean, you guys had a couple of lines deep that could really possess the puck. So what do they want you to do? Say, here's the puck to the other team so you can go defend more?
No, the puck's definitely gold of the program, and we try to have it as much as possible. And just something I got to continue to show. And what matters is if you can do it in the NHL, and so that's what
I think if you score 40 in the NHL, which
you said that yesterday,
I don't see why you won't, because I don't think anybody's going to say anything other than, "Did you see his 40 goals last year?" I think that's probably going to trump all.
Yeah, we're setting some pretty good expectations.
Yeah, 40 goals.
So
fine. It's fine.
When you come on as a rookie in the NHL and you got 2 goals in your first 4 games, we're gonna hype you up a little bit. We're gonna need the commitment that you're gonna come back on the show.
Okay.
He's a BU guy. He'll come back on the
BU
show.
guy.
He's in the family now, so he'll come on.
That's a verbal commitment right there.
And I'll have a lot of pause that you'll be able to look back on. So
Exactly. Yeah, we get to the bean pot this year.
Yeah,
we'll comment on it. All the pause on your helmet.
But also, talking about the program, being here. Not sure if you've met any like current players in the NHL, but I always love asking the starstruck question. Anyone that you've kind of encountered that you're like, holy shit, I can't believe I just met him and he knows who I am.
I met Jack Eichel the other week, and he was like, my brother played with him at the program, and I was like, hey, Cole Eiserman. He's like, I know. I was like, and like it was super cool. I loved watching him grow up. Still love watching him, and probably my favorite player to watch. He's so good. He's so good with everything he does. And the way he was kind of talking to me, he was like talking to me more of like friend,
buddy to buddy,
buddy, and that was super cool. And it's Jack Eichel, so
And honestly, I'll tell you this about Jack, and he only went to BU for 1 year. Man, he loves BU. I was actually shocked. So I met him really briefly, around BU when he was there and when he first came out. And then a couple of years ago, my wife and I were in Hawaii, and we ran into him and his girlfriend, and it was a nice trip. We'd actually run into Mike Ruzioni like an hour earlier, and
he's awesome.
I'm like, Rizzo, what are you doing here in Hawaii? He's standing by the pool just holding court, and everybody always floods to Rizzo. I mean, the minute people realize who he is, and you'll get to see him all the time at BU. He's always around.
I saw him the other week.
So Jack literally couldn't have been. It was like we had known each other forever. And the bonding point there was BU. And I was like, wow, I'm surprised. A guy who went there for only 1 year, could have gone there with 1 foot out the door, because we all knew who and what he was and how good he was. But it really matters to him. And I've appreciated that about him. And he's really supportive as an alum. And there will things that you will benefit from while you're there that he does behind the scenes, financially or otherwise. And it's really cool and important to Eichel. So I'm happy that you guys have made that connection. And I bet you he'll stay in touch with you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a house. He just built a house like 10 minutes down the street from me. So that's pretty cool.
In the burbs or out on the Cape or what?
Sorry?
Is he out in the Cape?
No, he's in Seabrook.
Okay.
New Hampshire. So up by North Shore guy. So
So you'll probably get an opportunity to spend some time with him on the ice, right?
I might go up, see him at the gym, and he has a gym in his house. So I use him to that one.
And he works, I think, with Kim Brandeville too.
Yep. So Kim's great too. I mean, there's a bunch of guys there right now, and so he's unbelievable.
A lot of the pro guys hang out at BU though in the summer, right?
Yeah,
train there.
There's a lot of guys.
Charlie, was McAvoy sick?
Yeah, there's a good group of guys: Grizzly, McAvoy, all those guys. Do you have any plans this summer to go in and take any classes and start training there? Or
once development camp's done, I'll be living there on campus and taking classes.
So you're going soon.
Yeah, right away, the whole team.
Which is a blast, by the way. Summer semester in college. I don't know if you ever did that.
It wasn't very fun at UMass.
Oh, so ours, I mean, you get to be in Boston. You start to get comfortable with everyone. You start meeting guys, and then you take classes. So it lightens your load during the first season. So, come Beanpot Monday, you're not worried about a test. You're just like, okay, I can focus on the Beanpot, right? Yeah. Because you got those classes out of the way early. And it's fun. I mean, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're with the guys, no complaints. So
what have your conversations been like with Jay Pandolfo? We're actually going to have him on and talk to him a little bit tomorrow. But what has that been like? Because look, Jay is a guy who won a Stanley Cup, played in the NHL, coached in the NHL, probably has NHL teams calling him for jobs. He's a very well-respected guy, former captain at BU and otherwise. So, how much did he factor into your decision to going there, and what has your relationship been like with him since, you've committed?
Yeah, he's been great. Trying to, obviously I've seen him a few times around the rink, and it's just kind of building a good connection with him. And it's trying to, once the year starts, finding that balance of letting me play my game, but also, playing that pro style that he can kind of bring to me. And I'm super excited to kind of, be with him just because everyone loves him, and he's a really good guy and a really good coach. So
I want to just shout out our chat quick. We haven't been able to check our live
I haven't
YouTube
even
chat.
been looking.
I know Vic just texted me, though. We have a question in the chat from one of
Yes.
our listeners, which we usually we'll read them as we're talking and we'll answer their questions.
what's up, fellas?
Yeah, we actually have a very loyal chat. So shout out chat. One of our listeners, I don't know who, Vic didn't tell me, but they want to ask you how many times you've used the free Chipotle from winning the World Jays.
Oh, you guys get free Chipotle for that?
Yeah.
Wait, which World Jays? I didn't play the World Jays this year.
Oh, someone in the chat asked that.
Maybe I signed with Chipotle.
Good stuff, Vic. Nice. Way to go.
Yeah. Sorry, not me.
So you're a Chipotle partner.
I am a Chipotle partner.
You and Macklin? Is
That's
that
me and Macklin, yeah.
I saw him posting that video.
I'm just going to use his card, not mine.
I saw that video the other day, and I can only imagine.
Maybe it was U18.
Because he's
U18s,
because he's kind of he's quiet, Macklin. I mean, obviously,
no, he's not quiet.
Okay, so you know him a little bit better, but I saw that little commercial thing that he posted, and I was kind of like, that had to be kind of uncomfortable to do this commercial.
I enjoyed it. That was enjoyable.
The commercial?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There you go. You're sticking up for your boy. I like that.
I think.
Yeah.
I think he enjoyed it too. I mean, Chipotle,
who doesn't want?
So he has free Chipotle for life now.
No, I don't think it's that, but he might.
Is the post practice chipper still
it's
everything?
Pre-game chipper.
Pre-game chipper?
No, like the day before, not pre-game chipper, but day before it's definitely.
What did you guys do at BU night before a game, on a Thursday night? Was there a team meal or just kind of everyone do their own thing?
We ate at T. Anthony's a lot, and that tradition is kind of died a little bit.
New
ownership. The old owners come in once a week and make sauce and make pizza. Last time I was in town doing a game for ESPN, I went in and they were there. But yeah, that used to be kind of our steak tips and rice. Thursday night, we'd go to T Anthony's. But we used to have our pregame meals there and everything, but now it's all catered. Everything is a lot different now, obviously, because nutrition is something people actually think about. We used to literally eat a slice of pizza with our pregame meal at T Anthony's the day before a game. So I think it's a little
changed.
Now.
Yeah. So Cole, we're sitting here a year from now. What do you think is going to change the most about you after freshman year of college? Whether it's music, food, taste, movies.
Probably a little more house music. I'm sure.
House music. Yeah.
Probably dial in a few more shows. And
you're not a big show guy.
I'm not a show guy, not really a TV guy. Kind of
just Eichel highlights on YouTube.
Don't say that. Is that true? No. No, but probably just, I don't know, being more of a normal person, I guess.
That's a good answer. Being more normal.
Yeah, exactly. So probably that, and maybe a little different music.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, there's different tastes there.
Yeah.
So.
Are you country in college locker rooms?
I mean, I love country. So
Are you what would you say you're most looking forward to? You grew up in the Boston area, right? Yep. So I assume you went to BU games when you were a kid. So have you kind of envisioned that moment, that again is that first game and all? I know the schedule recently came out. So there's some big games early, right? Sure. North Dakota, I think, on the schedule pretty early.
Go there.
You go out to the Ralph. That's I mean, anytime those two blue bloods put those sweaters on, I mean that's a battle.
Be really cool. I think just wearing the, because we played them this year.
Yeah, that's right. I think you guys smoked them, right?
We had a good game.
Yeah, 8-2 was I think the score. We had a bad first month.
Okay, but then Dartmouth did the same thing to us the next night, so we can't talk too much about that weekend. And then, but I think just putting that jersey on for the first time in the rink would be probably the coolest thing.
What number are you gonna wear at BU? Do you know? 34. Okay.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a forward that wore 34?
First one ever.
First one.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Gonna be the last or what?
Big Poppy.
Big Poppy. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Maybe first and last. Yeah. You never know. By the end of it, 34 could be in the rafters.
Is that why you were 34?
Bring us another championship to Com Ave, and they'll make sure you have a spot there. I completely flamed out as a pro, but because of what we did in 2009, I go back to BU and I sure get treated well.
That's true. Yeah. Well, definitely.
I've seen it happen. He's hugging everybody. I've never seen this guy hug a single person in my life. And then at BU, all of a sudden, he's the nicest guy and the happiest
That's
guy.
home, buddy. That's my
Yeah.
home for me. And you're lucky I don't pretend like I don't know you when I'm back at Aganis.
My goal is actually to try to get a picture of Colby just smiling and looking happy. That's kind of
only when I'm with my kid.
My goal in life.
Only when I'm with my kid.
This kid, we just get him with that.
Yeah.
He just annoys me every morning, and I swear it's his goal to annoy me.
I'm good.
So he wonders why I bark at him so much.
Well, that's why I'm in the middle of you guys right now.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They can't have us next to each other.
I feel like he's feeling it.
Out of arm's reach.
Yeah,
That's fine.
all right. So tomorrow, obviously, the big day.
Yep.
What are you gonna do tonight to wind down? Any plans with the family, or I know you just said you don't watch shows, so how are you gonna fall asleep tonight knowing that tomorrow's your draft day?
Just kind of enjoying today.
Yeah.
Probably. I think just kind of not thinking about tomorrow as much and enjoying, my family here. And we got a pretty big room, and I'm sure they're gonna be a lot of people in the room, and just kind of talk with my brothers, talk about just anything, stories from back in the day, and my dad, just kind of having him laugh, and that's what I'm gonna do. And then once the time hits where I'm about to go to bed, I'll just shut them down and get ready for that when that alarm hits. So
which parent is the driving force for you? I feel like it's either mom or there's usually one.
It's my first.
It's my mom.
Yeah. She's the driver.
She's the. Yeah, if there's like a nuke driver, she'd be the driver of it. And 5 boys, and she can control all of us. And she's kind of the heart of the family. And
she getting the first hug tomorrow?
She's gonna get the first hug. Yeah.
You guys have already planned. You've talked about this.
She said that she's getting the first hug.
So. She made that.
And you don't go against mom.
No, you get drafted in the NHL, you get grounded. right. I've never imagine that. But is there
just my dad because I hug him?
Yeah. Is there like a rehearsal or anything, like red carpet?
There's something. I don't think there's any like rehearsal.
You guys, you're entering the sphere. I don't even know how you get in there.
There's a door somewhere, Jonny.
No, but I mean, like, I know last year in Nashville there was a whole red carpet, a bus.
You can call him an idiot.
Yeah, you can
too. I do it.
No,
all the time.
First time. I'm not gonna.
I won't take
next time he comes on the show. He's gonna call you an idiot. Okay, fine.
He's gonna text after your fucking co-host.
Yeah. You got a special custom suit you got done up for the draft?
I do got something nice for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Some special things on the inside, not too much crazy, but means a lot to me.
Pictures, memories,
just
teammates.
4 logos of something.
Okay, but you don't want to tell us a surprise tomorrow.
It's definitely gonna be
You want to shout out your guy who made the suit, or
State and Liberty was great.
Oh, the best.
all right.
The best. I just want to touch them.
Liam Offey, those guys do a good job. Former Michigan hockey player. Yeah.
They're great. Went to Boston.
Nice.
They got me hooked up and fired up to wear it tomorrow.
Yeah, listen, hey, those guys do a good job, and they take care of hockey guys. They're started by hockey players. A lot of their investors.
I could work out in the suit too.
Yeah, so it's awesome stuff what they have. Yeah. So, well, look, buddy, I'm excited to watch you play at BU next year. Yeah. That's no secret. The people who watch our show know. I always talk about the fact that my daughter goes to bed at 7 p.m. and the next thing that comes on in our house is the BU games on Friday and Saturday nights. Awesome. And then, whenever I end up there doing the games, it's always fun. But I'm excited to see what the team looks like next year. I'm someone who follows it closely. I know a lot of the guys. Whenever I come up, it's a great time. So it's exciting to have you there. I remember the day we got that news that you were coming to Palm Ave, and the group alumni group texts were buzzing because of how excited it is. But good luck tomorrow, man.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. It can be stressful.
Yeah,
but it's out of your control at this point. And at the end of the day, like, again, when you score 40, your draft position, whether you go 5th or 8th, it doesn't matter as long as you score 40.
Yeah.
As long as you score 40. Yeah, exactly. As long as you score 40. But you have my word. If I'm calling the UMass first BU game next year at UMass, I do a lot of the color commentary for UMass. I will make note of it to say that Cole Eiserman had a great block shot on that last shift.
Thank you.
I will pump that on the broadcast.
I'll be limping off the ice too.
Next year. We'll be talking about his block shots, not his goals. I promise.
You won't see the red on the helmet. It's just pause.
Give me a white bucket.
Yeah, exactly.
But we appreciate your time today, seriously.
Thank you.
We know it's busy.
So
go enjoy it. And,
thank you.
Start watching some shows, all right?
I'll try. Be a little normal. Maybe shoot a little pucks.
All right, we're going to wrap it up here with Cole. We'll be back in a minute or so. It'll be just Colby and I for a little bit here, and then we'll have Cole Hutson coming on pretty shortly. Thank you to the chat for being active. We'll talk to you shortly here. You guys enjoyed that great get by you, Colby. A lot of BU ties.
Yeah.
Excited to see him play next year.
It's great to see a guy too, like at a young age, he's 17.
You can sense that
he just like can have
enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's enjoying himself. He can, sit there and carry a conversation. You could just tell these
the
guys.
banter was there too. Like I could tell he was like,
he probably wanted to give it to you a couple of times, but he wanted, again, I'm sure, I'll get a text message or something. Oh, that guy's an idiot. So yeah, that's normal. Don't worry.
All right, Mr. 40 goals, putting the pressure on him.
No, it was good to talk to him. I'd never met him before. Yeah. Obviously we watched this guy play and we hear his name. He really is one of the most talked about guys here because so many people have said, I mean, his talent is to go maybe second overall behind Macklin, but again, it was whether it was the defensive stuff or different things that came up throughout the year. But I will say, as of late, I do notice him, going back towards the top five and teams talking about him as a top five player because at the end of the day, goals win hockey games.
Yeah. And you could always teach the other stuff,
Look, I'm telling you right now, he's going to go learn how to, like he said, play a pro style game with a guy like Jay Pandolfo as his head coach. And, that's what guys need. I mean, he's 17.
Yeah.
You're not who you're going to be at 17. I mean, but the things that he does, you can't teach. Yeah. And you look at the records and the goals. I mean, Austin Matthews, Hughes, the names, Kane, Kessel, Caulfield. Again, hockey royalty and not just American hockey royalty. NHL royalty. And, he outdid them all in goals, which, there's a reason they call the kid Cole Eiserman, because he's a natural scorer. So we're going to have Cole Hutson coming up in a couple of minutes. Tyler Yaremchuk just went downstairs to grab him and bring him up, so we'll stay in the BU flavor, but another guy who I think we're going to hear his name on Friday night. But before we get there, Johnny, we got to kind of clean up a couple of things.
Yeah. Colby and I'm actually rocking the Out West polo right now. I wore it yesterday. It's keeping me comfy in Vegas. It is hot as shit out there. This is nice and light. Our Out West worst team of the week we're going to get into shortly. But first, ladies and gentlemen, now that we're settled into summer, let's dive a bit deeper into Out West. The founders, born and raised in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, saw high-end brands flooding the market. The problem, those brands often aim to connect with those chasing exclusivity of prep culture, while Out West created with a new customer in mind. We make our clothes for those who feel that a premium brand hasn't connected with them yet. When you buy Out West, you're not just getting some of the finest threads in the game, a great price point, you're embracing what our company stands for. What started as a few boxes in a basement is growing more and more every day, hoping to one day become a company with national recognition in the market. Everything that Out West has accomplished thus far is all thanks to you guys, especially you in the chat who've been using our code. Our customers and we can't thank or can't wait to keep making great clothes for y'all. So if you haven't checked us out yet, head over to www.outwestgolf.com to get 15% off of your first order with our code Cuppa, that's CUPPA, and discover why every game needs an outlaw. And this week's worst team of the week, a team that Colby does love to shit on a little bit, none other than the Arizona Coyotes.
Not a team anymore, Johnny.
Not a team anymore. That is true.
It's what has transpired with the formerly known Phoenix Coyotes, Arizona Coyotes with this owner. This has just been more of the same embarrassment to the NHL with Alex Meruelo.
I can't believe we're still talking about it, to be honest.
With it's just so embarrassing because this is a guy who has said basically nothing truthful publicly since he started publicly speaking in Arizona. And the city and the state just so clearly doesn't want to work with this guy. They cancel the land auction because he didn't do the right thing with permits. And it, to me, and Frank said this weeks and weeks ago, once this guy got his $1 billion, you were never going to see him back reinvesting that into the NHL. Bought the team for a couple $100 million, ran it into the ground, sold it for $1 billion, walks away net $800 million or something like that. There's no way we will ever hear from Alex Meruelo again. And you know what? I got to tell you something. I now have doubts if hockey gets back to that market.
You said 20 years this morning, right?
Because think about it. You've got to build a building. You've got to now pay, $1.5 billion to $2 billion expansion fee if it's in 7 to 10 years at that time. Who's going to pay that and pay to build a brand new building and be able to actually have a profitable business in a market that has been a failure?
Yeah, it's not even reliable anymore, right?
Zero.
You can't guarantee anything in that market right now.
So I just don't understand how we continue to sit here and act surprised by, Alex Meruelo and the way that he's done things. But I got to tell you, it's horrifying in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Like they're the worst team of the week. They're the worst team of the year.
The worst team of the decade.
They're no longer a team. They now have relinquished all the logos and the copy marks and everything back to the league. They're talking about giving the history of the Arizona team back to Winnipeg even. It's disgusting, honestly. In a league that has been full of good news and full of good revenue and full of growth, you've got the Arizona Coyotes, which are no longer a thing. And thank God we're on to Utah. Bigger and better things for that franchise, a new owner who is a young guy and seems invigorated to, do the right thing and spend money and treat players the way NHL players should be treated. Mm-hmm. Hopefully he's going to pay his hotel bills, unlike Alex Meruelo was doing in Arizona. It's just, they deserve to be the worst team of the week
every week
for a long time until we start the season next year. We may just have to continue to dig that grave on this show until the puck drops next season, because I can't for the life of me understand how this guy could do such a bad job when, Arizona, like Tempe and Scottsdale, Arizona, are unbelievable places. Mm-hmm. It could be a free agent destination.
Not Tucson though, huh?
Not Tucson. Well, we know I can't even spell or pronounce that, so we won't even go there. So look, we just had a great interview with Cole Eiserman. Yep. We're going to bring the other half of the Cole Dream Team onto the show here in a second. Are we going to go to break for 1 second while we set them up? So we're going to go to break. Give us 30 seconds. Cole Hutson is going to come in and join us. We're going to have to start by telling him all the things Cole Eiserman said about him.
A lot of shit talk.
And we might have to, kind of light that up a little bit, because they are, going to be living across the hall from each other next year. So maybe, the water under the door, the shaving cream tricks. I mean, that might have to start in summer session. So we'll be back here in about 30 seconds. Hang with us. When we come back, we'll have Cole Hutson here to chat with us for a little bit.
All right, we are back with Cole Hutson. Heard tomorrow is a pretty big day, not only because of the draft, but also your birthday.
Yep.
So any big plans you have today, tomorrow? What's going on in Vegas here this weekend for the Hudson family?
Yeah, I mean, nothing. We're all just hanging out, kind of living with the flow a little bit and just enjoying the time and kind of the hot weather.
Yeah, everyone comes to Vegas just to relax, right? That's a known thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You're underage for sure.
How many friends and family you got here?
Not too many here right now, but I got quite a few coming.
Both your brothers in town, Lane and Quinn. A little disappointed they didn't come with you to the interview. I'm not feeling the BU love from those two right now, but we'll deal with that at a later date. What's that been like for you? You know, kind of following in both of their footsteps. But I mean, look, you and Lane are the defensemen. You just took his points. You took his points record down at BU and you became the all-time point guy. I mean, sorry, at the national team. What's that relationship like? And maybe a little bit of a rivalry, because I've been on TV all year saying you guys haven't seen anything. We still have the best Hudson yet to come. And I mean, I'm talking about Lars, but I guess you're pretty good too, right? But just kidding. What's that sort of rivalry and brotherly relationship and competitiveness been like for you with, Lane in particular?
Yeah, I mean, we grew up skating together pretty much every single day, and every day out there we'd be battling our hardest. And honestly, we kind of hated each other growing up because we were so similar. But I mean, kind of grew out of it a little bit, and we respect each other a lot. And he's a really good player.
What are the differences in your guys' game? Because you both put up a lot of points, but having watched you at the U18s a little bit throughout the season, I know even U18s last year they brought you up to play multiple U18 championships over your time at national team. And for those of you who don't really necessarily know how that program works, you start with the U17 team first year, and then there's the U18 team. And the big event is the U18 World Championship. And Cole was, brought up to U18s. How did you play the second half of the season with U18?
Yeah.
Right. So it's basically like a guy who's an underage player getting called up for that, just to explain to everyone. But
we'll brag for you.
What are the differences? Because again, I feel like you guys get the same result, but you go about it in a very different way.
Yeah, I mean, getting called as a team was probably one of the best things that's happened to me in my career so far, and I learned a lot from guys like Will Smith, Gabe Perreault, and Ryan Leonard. Some of the best,
pretty good players.
A lot of BC guys.
I mean, they're some of the best forwards that aren't in the NHL right now. But yeah, I mean, learning a lot from them and especially the gold medal. There's no better feeling than that. I mean, taking that into the next year and with all the experience we already had, we knew what we were getting into, and unfortunately it didn't end up the way we wanted it to, but it was a blast.
So you won 2 years ago, and then this year, it didn't go your guys' way.
Cole, I don't know if you're familiar with our show or not, but I ask the hard hitters and the serious questions around here. So I got a tough one for you if you're ready for it. Just channel your brain for a second. I was talking to my buddy Henry Graham, who played at BU last year. Said you're a big gamer. Did you bring your Xbox to Vegas with you? Is it even an Xbox? Is it PlayStation 5 now?
I did bring my Xbox.
You did?
I'm not unpacking it now.
No way.
Just because I'm going to BU right after this.
Okay.
So it's just chilling in my suitcase right now. But yeah, I play a lot of Xbox.
Not going to ease the mind tonight, play a little Xbox to calm the nerves a bit?
Not a chance, though.
Will you tell the crowd your gamer tag, or is that kind of like no? All right.
He doesn't need
got a small crew.
Yeah. Right.
So what's the schedule? So draft, and then a development camp, and then BU for semester.
Exactly,
yeah. And you already know who you're living with and stuff at BU. All that's planned out. Classes picked.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you is Quinn gonna go and take classes as well this summer?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And Lane, or no?
No.
He's not. He's gonna go.
He's clocked out for a while.
He's gonna focus on hockey for a little bit. What school are you going into at BU?
Intro to hospitality.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Is that like School of Arts and Sciences?
I think so. I have no
Okay.
clue.
Yeah. This guy's a hockey player. Okay. Listen, I get it. Honestly, I went to BU for 3 years. I don't even know where the library is at BU. So I remember one time I got a class on my schedule that Colin Wilson was in that class with me. I don't know if you remember watching him play for Nashville, Colorado, or whatever. He was one of my classes, one of my classmates at BU. We booked this class that supposedly was like an easy A, right? And it was in the library, and we were living in Student Village, so like next to Aganis at the time. And we were like, where's the library? We have no idea, because all the other buildings have like, the address and the library. We're like, but the library's big. Like they have classes we had no idea. So we just dropped the class. Like,
This is not advice, by the way.
We got to find a class that's not at the library because we couldn't find it. So hopefully you'll have better luck than me. But at the end of the day, like on Fridays, like make sure you don't book classes on Fridays. Like Fridays are game days at BU.
Yeah, I definitely didn't.
So still a Bruins fan, or how does that work?
Yeah,
come tomorrow.
Still Bruins
Even with
fan.
Lane in Montreal, though?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Even more now, right?
Yeah, probably even more now. I mean, I could care less where he went. Obviously, Montreal was a really good spot for him, but I'm not going to bandwagon for Montreal now. Bruins have always been my favorite and always will.
So tomorrow you're not picked by Boston, let's say. Does that go out the window, or are you still going to hold on to it a little bit in your heart?
I'd say half and half
Okay,
a little bit.
yeah.
I mean, going to BU, you still got to be a little bit of a Bruins fan. I'm sure I'll go to a few games during the year, but whatever team picks me, I'll definitely be on their side. I'd hope
You'll quickly learn to love the logo of the hat that you get tomorrow for sure. Your allegiances will change. I grew up a diehard Flyers fan, and when they skipped me at 23 and like 41, and I went a couple picks later, and that was the day my Flyers logo that I had as a little kid in my heart completely died. It just, see you later. No more orange and black for me. So we'll see. We'll catch up with you again at some point this year, and we'll have to ask you that question again.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny though. Now I feel like it's different with all the brothers in the league that you see, like Brady Tkachuk's fully at games, like rooting for Matthew, and I think that's changed a little bit now. Like you can obviously root for your brother. I think that's allowed, and no one will bat an eye. But it's always funny, like hearing kids talk about their siblings, where they get drafted and whatnot, then hearing how those rivalries play out, and then actually seeing you play against your brother for the first time. I know it's a little bit further ahead, but have you imagined that in your brain at all? What that?
Well, they played against each other last year.
Well, I meant in the NHL.
Did he play in that game in the exhibit?
Yeah,
where you guys thumped them?
I mean, yeah. He was definitely on the ice for a good amount of games.
Was he like a -4 that night?
Yeah,
so I was thinking -4 too. That's funny.
Cole Eiserman was talking about that game, and he was like, "Yeah, but then we got our asses kicked in the next night by Dartmouth, so we couldn't talk too much shit after that."
Yeah, we did get our asses kicked a little bit, but all we remember is the first night, kind of.
But back to like what I was kind of asking before Colby rudely interrupted. Do you have that image in your head of like, first time suiting up against your brother in the NHL? Obviously, it's a little hard. The jersey you're wearing.
It's so far away. I can't even really think about that. Yeah, I've more really thought about maybe playing with them. I mean, growing up our whole life, I've kind of been on the same team with them against Quinn and Lars, so we kind of got some built-in chemistry a little bit. So that'll be the most fun part about it.
Well, and honestly, I said this a lot last year, and I would talk to your dad about this. Lane, obviously, the fact that he didn't end up with a Hobie Baker in college it's kind of bizarre. Obviously, last year was a little different. I think the year before he probably should have won the award, but Quinn was a big driver for that team. Like when Quinn scores goals, that team wins. And so are we gonna, the connection between those two on the power play at BU? I mean, Lane looked for him, and he knew like, okay, like I got to get him going. Maybe Quinn, okay, I got to get Lane, like I got to feed him. Do you and Quinn have that relationship and that sort of, chemistry and connection that we saw from those two, or TBD on that? Or
I mean, I hope so. We've been scrimmaging all summer together, and we've been connecting on a few pretty cool ones. So we're hoping to bring it to life in games too.
You want to say something?
I was just going to ask what the week is, what this process has been like for you. Whether it's this week, whether it's the combine, the meetings. We asked Cole Eiserman anything bizarre, any teams asked you, or anything catch you off guard, or what has this really process been like for you? Is it what you thought or expected, or completely different?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Lane went through it all, so I kind of got the head start on everyone, knowing what was coming, but at the same time, he kind of wanted to let me learn on my own and deal with all this stuff and find my own way a little bit. So, I mean, there were some pretty weird questions at the combine.
Like what?
Do you have Uber? Because Cole Eiserman doesn't.
One? Yeah, he didn't. He doesn't have Uber. He said he doesn't have an Uber rating. He said he's never used it. His brothers chauffeur him around.
Yeah, I mean, my brothers do too, but I think I've had to Uber on my own like 3 or 4 times. But
that's funny.
I hope it's like closer to 5-star. I mean,
did they ask you this? No team asked you?
I didn't hear that one. No.
What about the Snapchat thing? Did you get that one?
No, but I'd be fine on that one.
You're not a Snapchat guy. Are you you use social media at all?
I mean, yeah, like Instagram here and there, I'll go on it, but Snapchat, I just don't use it that much.
You got your Instagram caption ready to go for tomorrow or what? Or
No, I'm not even thinking about it.
yeah. Other guys, you'd be surprised. Last year, who was it? Will Smith was a big Instagram caption guy, and I think he told me he had it like his caption in the draft.
The Hudson boys are like sleeping in their hockey equipment. These guys are not worried about social media.
Yeah.
Rob Hudson has these guys all dialed, ready to take over the hockey world.
But with that too, we asked Cole Eiserman before, like, is it weird turning on the TV and like hearing your name talked about? Like, is that something you'll ever get used to? It's going to happen more and more now as the years come.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's pretty surreal, but I mean, you still got a job to do on the ice, and if you get too ahead of yourself, that'll go the wrong way.
Has there been like one moment where you were like watching NHL Network or something and see your own highlight come on? You're like, oh shit.
I mean, no, sometimes like you see it on Instagram here and there. I mean, some accounts like post about it, and maybe you'll see like a goal you scored in the past year and or something like that. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty cool to see. Like,
he still sends his goals to our group chat like once a week.
I love that.
See,
it's really me. I do it.
Yeah, he literally stalks my history on the internet and puts it into our group chat, and I just ignore him most of the time anyway. Like literally, he'll call me and I answer the phone. What do you want?
What do you want? Like 9 o'clock on a Tuesday, a perfectly normal
I'm like, I
hour.
have a kid. I'm going to bed. Why are you bothering me at 9 p.m.? Our show ended 12 hours ago in the morning. Talk a little bit about, where you are in this whole process as far as the rankings and all this stuff, because look, I mean, I watch you play. I'd be pretty confident to bet we're going to hear your name called tomorrow night, right? But Lane has been through this process where, I mean, I think there's a lot of teams that are sure kicking themselves in the ass that they didn't call his name earlier. I mean, look what he did in college. Look at the way that he absolutely toyed with Division I hockey. He goes right into the NHL at the end of the year and plays the exact same way. People are like, oh, is Lane going to be able to do this in the NHL? Well, yeah, we watched him do it in the NHL for what, 3-4 games, was it?
It was 2.
It was 2. Okay. But still, he didn't miss a beat the way he gets across the blue line, the way he holds onto the puck. Like, it's funny to watch sometimes. I mean, you're falling into a similar category. You are. And maybe teams, I can't imagine teams are going to make the same mistake because it's like, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice.
You butchered that so hard.
They're going to screw themselves here. Shut up, Jeff. So like, is this stressful? Is it, exciting? I mean, how does it feel? Look, personally, was in a similar situation as you. Ranked sort of in the mid first round by the whole, the draft experts. We can save that for a different, central scouting has become such a useless tool for the game of hockey. It's because they don't actually work. You have all these independent guys that actually work and watch film. And then you have central scouting who just feels like they need to create controversy and, make themselves feel important. Again, we could save that for a different day.
Doesn't
but
seem like you want to.
Where are you? Like, how are you feeling about all that? Because you kind of do fall into that range. Like, we could hear you go at 15. We could hear you at 20. Or, maybe it's 32, 33. So, that's a tough situation kind of to be in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like clueless on where I'm going to get called, obviously, like other people as well. I mean, after watching Lane going through it, he was stressed the whole first day. I'm hoping I don't have to do the walk of shame back to the hotel after the first night.
I did that. I've been there, and it sucks, and it gave me a chip on my shoulder. I think it probably gave Lane a lot of motivation, right?
But I mean, yeah, I'm going into it just kind of loose a little bit and not going to stress about it at all. So just trying to enjoy the time here and have fun with it.
And very few players, like, for where Lane and the way it works with rookie contracts is like, there's maxes you can get. Lane got them all. He must have a good agent, and he was a pretty good player. But he got them all. So where he got drafted ended up meaning absolutely nothing. Literally, he's one of the very few guys that it meant nothing.
But is there chirping going on with you two about who's going to get picked higher? There's got to be a little bit of that.
Definitely not yet. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But,
well, I meant like you talking shit.
What did he go? 62nd overall?
Yeah.
62nd was the number, right?
So if I go before that, there'll definitely be
You'll let him hear it.
Family bragging rights.
But I mean, nothing too crazy.
Quinn will just come in from the top rope and, drop the elbow on you all. He's the elder statesman of the group, right? And then Lars, we've got a fourth brother that, I mean, listen, when are we going to see? Are we going to see him at BU in a couple of years or what?
Yeah, I hope so. He's got to put on some weight and maybe grow a little bit. But I mean, we were all pretty small at his age, but he was definitely the skinniest of us all. So if he puts on a little bit of weight, he'll be just fine.
Where's he going to play next year? Do we know?
Team Illinois.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay. I know there's.
Is that breaking news?
He was thinking and maybe he was going to play a little juniors or something like that.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe he might get a few games,
which would be pretty cool for him. But yeah, I mean the Hudson factory, it just continues to continue, Johnny.
I just got one more for you, Cole. We don't want to keep you too long when you're busy, but this whole draft this year is just so different than any year previously. I mean, the sphere itself, like, is it hard to imagine just like walking on stage there and what you'll be looking at? Like, I actually have never been inside, so I don't even know what to expect, but I got to imagine, we asked Cole Eiserman if there's like a rehearsal or anything, probably a dumb question on my part, but
most people just expect that out of you.
But when you imagine the draft in the sphere, like, to you, is that a cooler experience, or do you almost wish you had the normal arena feel and walking on stage and shaking Gary's hand?
What a stupid question. Right. Who cares where it is?
I don't know, man.
This guy's about to get drafted in the NHL. He could be in the middle of the Sahara Desert. You hear your name, you hear your name.
Yeah,
just ignore it. Yeah.
See?
Yep.
Listen,
all right, let's let him go.
BU guys stick together. You're never gonna put a wedge between a couple of BU guys. It just doesn't work that way.
Just say the sphere will be sick. And
yeah, the sphere will be sick.
Yeah.
Really cool.
We've got your coaches coming on tomorrow. We've got Jay Pandolfo and Joe Pereira going to come on the show tomorrow. He's leaving me because he's got to go to a bachelor party, so I'm kind of manning solo. But the last thing I want to talk to you about is the fact that we asked Cole Eiserman about you. Obviously, you guys have been teammates at the national team. He said you're a pretty grumpy guy. So I don't know if you want to respond to that, if you want to dispel that. I mean, grumpy. I mean, that's maybe quiet or
smile.
Focused. I mean, I know Hudson boys they're focused, right? You know, you guys are dialed in, but grumpy's a little much.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd know me a little bit better by now, but yeah, I mean, I just got that resting face. It makes me look mad all the time.
Little resting bitch face.
Yeah,
you can stay. Yeah. We're a YouTube social media show, so you can say.
I got that face, but I'm a happy guy for the most part, and I guess just everyone thinks I'm not.
Well, when you're filling up the points and you're taking down records at the national team, that's when he smiles and winning gold medals. And I know you're gonna have an opportunity to go try out for the World Junior team this summer, you know, and play for that team next year. You were obviously named to that list, which is great. So hopefully you'll be a part of a gold medal group with David Carl and just like Lane was last year. So look, we appreciate your time. We know this is a hectic couple of days with meetings and talking to teams and you know, no more Lou Lamoriello treadmill tests like back in the day, like he used to put guys through. But we appreciate you taking the time. I'm looking forward to watching you play at BU. I mean, I do a lot of those games on TV, and when I don't, you know, Koff and I text all the time, but you know, I watch them all. I love watching the team play, and you know, hopefully we'll all be together in St. Louis next year, and looking for another national championship back at BU to take those guys, the pretty boys, down at Chestnut Hill. So
yeah, we hope.
That's always the plan when you're on ComAF. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck tomorrow. We'll be waiting to hear your name for sure. I think it's gonna come early. You know, I think if teams are smart, they're not gonna make it the same mistake they made with Lane. But at the end of the day, you know, the path has been paved by Lane, and we're excited to watch you go create your own, you know, new Hudson name in you know, the NCAA, and then, you know, onto the NHL in a couple of years.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Cole. And we'll be right back in about a minute. So hope you enjoyed that interview with Cole, and we'll talk to you in a second here.
Thank you.
for hopping on with us here in Vegas. I mean, I just look behind me and I kind of forget we're like on the Vegas Strip. It's so sick and so different than being in our.
Have you gone swimming?
No, I haven't. I haven't
Not
gone
yet?
swimming. No, not yet. I plan on it though.
Couple of wine coolers for you last night, and you'll end up shirtless.
Slap the
down
bag.
in
Slap the bag with the wine bag.
I haven't heard that term since I was in college 20 years ago, but I do remember slap the bag from college.
I do the espresso martinis with tequila.
You're still doing that? Slap the bag? You're
dude.
still playing games like that?
I'm not. Just espresso martinis with tequila. That's my play. I'm sure the chat will trip about that too. But that interview with Cole Hutson was brought to you by our beautiful sponsor, Parasso, the most complete choice for shaving and beard care. Made in Italy since 1948, Parasso has been a staple of Italian culture and barbershops globally for 4 generations. So get 15% off at parasso-usa.com with our promo code hockey15 in all caps, hockey15. There are a couple different topics to hit on, Colby, from yesterday. Some trades, some firings, some rumors. I'm kind of going to let you take the lead on this. Where do you want to start here?
Well, look, we saw I guess the biggest news yesterday was the trade between Vancouver and Chicago. We've actually seen them do some deals. They did a deal with Jason Dickinson a couple of years ago. So there's been, deals done since Kyle Davidson took over in Chicago. And, a lot of people look at this as a big salary dump. Yeah. But listen, it is a salary dump.
Exactly what it is. Yeah.
But you also have a guy in Mikheyev who, there could be something there. And it's funny. Like, I think that, Chicago was thrilled to do this deal. And I actually talked to Kyle Davidson a little bit about this yesterday. Look, there's a lot of people who still believe in Mikheyev and Mikheyev, however.
Okay, I think you're right. Yeah.
And you look at a team like Chicago, like they need more skill. He's going to go there and get a longer leash. He's going to get a lot of opportunity. They've got a ton of cap space. They get an additional second-round pick, and they get Sam Lafferty, the rights to Sam Lafferty.
And he was already there, right?
A guy who came to Chicago and made a big impact on that organization, got an extension signed in Chicago, and then they used him in the Jake McCabe deal and got they got a first for McCabe and a second for him now as a package. But, you've now got Sam Lafferty, if you're Kyle Davidson, for nothing. You've turned him into, 2 second-round picks. Mikheyev, it's pretty incredible when you look at the paper trail, and that's like what I tweeted yesterday on how they've shuffled around Sam Lafferty, a guy who they got for nothing from Pittsburgh, and
who's also loved.
And you've got
he's loved.
Great golfer, by the way. Oh yeah, he's like a plus handicap. Well, I got to know him in Chicago. I was working there, and he'll get. I truly believe he will get signed in Chicago. I think Chicago will give him more than he probably would get on the open market. He had success in Chicago. They have cap room. They know he's a hardworking blue collar guy, kills penalties. And, Luke Richardson loved his speed. He always talked about Sam Lafferty's speed when I was there, because he said he's the kind of guy that you put him around the right players, he can make players uncomfortable because he's got, jet fuel in his skates. So, a good move, I think, for Chicago. Low risk, high reward. And when you're in a rebuild where you have infinite cap space, that is, those low risk, high reward opportunities are the way where you can hit a couple of home runs and build some unlikely pieces into your organization.
And on the flip side for Vancouver, are they now a popular destination for free agents? Like, they're trying to clear some space. Maybe they go after Jake Ensel. I know it's the rumor they want to sign Zadorov as well. But after the year they had this year, and Tyler Yaremchuk and I actually talked about it last night. Tyler and I agreed that had Besser and Demko both been healthy in Game 7 against the Oilers, Vancouver probably moves on. I knew he wouldn't be able to hold it. I'm just kidding. Tyler's right here. I'm just messing with him.
Tyler Yaremchuk obviously is the face of Oilers Nation, so doesn't actually believe anything you just said. But look, do I think Vancouver is a place players want to go? Yeah. And you've got Rick Tocchet, you've got Adam Foote, and you've got the Sedin brothers, who are the coaching staff. So what hockey player wouldn't want to go play for those three guys? I mean, it doesn't matter what era you're from or how old you are. You watch one of those three guys, or four, excuse me, because there's twins. You watch them play. And those are guys that you listen to when they open their mouths. So you've got that as a factor. You've got Thatcher Demko in goal. Okay. And so when you start thinking about some of the pieces that they have, I think they're going to be good for a stretch of time here. I think they've obviously got to clean some things up. They've got some stuff. What's going to happen with Zadorov again on this show. I feel like we, on the DFO, some people call him Zadorov. Tyler does.
I'm a
Zadorov guy.
Yeah.
It just really depends on what part of North America you're from and what season it is when these guys change their last names. But it definitely opens up a little cap space for them. $4 million on the cap. And they've got guys like Lindholm, Dakota Joshua, Ian Cole, Tyler Myers, Zadorov, Casey DeSmith. Casey DeSmith will not be back. I can tell you that for a fact. He's going to the open market. Again, that's not a secret whatsoever. So he's not a guy they're really looking to re-sign. I think Dakota Joshua is going to get more to Smith. Oh, Dakota Joshua for Vancouver. Okay.
Good for him.
But I was literally just going to say, he's the guy that I think they'd like to keep. I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to, but they did get him done. Haven't been really monitoring social media. So good job producing there, Tyler, your M-Chuck. So, that gives them the opportunity to bring him back. Big, heavy forward. Was good in the playoffs, was good when games got tight. So I like that signing, but
tough guy to play against too. I played against him in college, and when he was in Sioux Falls, I was at their camp 2 years in a row. And
Ohio State guy, right?
Yeah, Ohio State.
Yeah, he was a good player. We had him, Butchie and I had him in the NCAA tournament one year. So, that was some news yesterday. There's been other news. I've heard, a lot of John Gibson talk from Anaheim. I hear that, he's going to be on the move as a goaltender. I've heard a number of different teams like Detroit mentioned for that. The Patrick Kane stuff to New York is really picking up. I mean, look, the crazy thing is, the first round of the draft is Friday. And then the second round of the draft is Saturday. And then, 24 hours later, it's July 1, free agency. So
been a crazy week.
Things are starting to pick up. And as you and I know from being here in Vegas, we're seeing all these GMs, we're bumping into all these different guys at restaurants and, walking through the hotels, and there's a lot of meetings happening with agents. There's a lot of players that are here now for the award show. So there's a lot of movement going on in and around the NHL. And usually it's one or two dominoes creates, a little bit more of that effect where, the dominoes start falling down.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a lot of news coming out tomorrow night during the first round of the draft. I don't know if this is like a hot take or anything, but I would say that we probably have a trade before the 10th pick is made, I would say.
You think someone's going to trade out of the top 10?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely been teams that have been advertising the fact that their picks have been available. Guys like, Marty Natchez is a name that you keep hearing attached to some of these some of these higher picks. But, I also think there's good value in the top 10 this year.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're talking about guys like Buyam that could potentially be available at 7 or 8, or a Ginla available at, 8 or 9 to Calgary, as you get closer, teams might say, you know what, I want to hold on. I unless you blow me away with an offer, I'm not interested in it. So I do think we'll see a lot of trades between now and then. I do think that will happen. So, we'll keep an eye on social media today. It's probably more things that are going to happen today. One of the, reasons having the draft where everyone is in the same place is good is because, these GMs can go sit down and have coffee or, go have lunch and talk about and maybe get a deal across the finish line, on a trade, because rather than having to play phone tag and this and that, like you can just get in the same room as people and talk to them. So.
Yeah. A lot more news to be shared, I guess, as the weekend continues. I don't really have much.
I think the last thing I just want to address is the fact that, Ken Holland officially done in Edmonton. I think that was something that everybody already knew. The belief is that they did offer him some sort of front office job, but like, you're just not going to be in control anymore. But it didn't sound like, that was something that Ken Holland was interested in. I give him a lot of credit because from what I heard, he wasn't putting his name out there for all these GM jobs because he was like, I'm focused on the Stanley Cup. I'm not going to have my name dragged into rumors about Columbus or any of these other GM spots that were open. And I give him a lot of credit for that because that's got to be hard. Your team gets into playoffs. You can't make roster personnel changes, Johnny, at that point. Yeah. There's no salary cap management for this season. You're basically just watching. And to watch all these other jobs start to close down when you don't have one, that was probably difficult. So I give him a lot of credit for handling it that way.
And just to add to that, Vic just sent us a quote. This was on Twitter 10 minutes ago. In quotes, I don't have any intention of being the general manager. Oilers hockey operations CEO Jeff Jackson. He said he's the acting GM. He has no timeline for a hire, but said it is a priority. So just a little bit more.
I will say this, and while that may be the case, I've seen other president of hockey operations make that exact same quote and then hire themselves to be the GM. Kyle Dubas was not hired to be the general manager in Pittsburgh. He gave himself that title. Staios in Ottawa, same thing. Got rid of the GM and made himself. Look, at the end of the day, I don't necessarily fully understand the structure of these teams when you have a president and a GM.
No.
Like, who's actually in control? Who is and then if things don't go right, how do you know who's accountable for things not going right? Because the GM could say, well, we hear the rumors of Brendan Shanahan in Toronto vetoing trades that Kyle Dubas wanted to make. So then Kyle Dubas gets fired, but he's got to be sitting there going, well, wait a sec. This guy vetoed 4 of my trades. Yeah. So where does the accountability fall in a situation like that? And that's why I'm more of a fan of just have a GM, have one guy and let him build his team around him, whether it's his senior advisors, his assistant GMs, and let them work together. But this whole sort of power struggle you sometimes see in these front offices where president and GM, it's like no one really knows who's making the decisions. I don't think that's type of, muddied water is necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well said too. I don't really have anything else that way. We still got to get to if you want to.
Oh yeah, I forgot what we were. Yeah, so we'll finish the show with our Betway bet of the day. I do remember what it is actually. With Betway, they're still offering a great free $200 promotion. Scan the QR code on your screen. Your first bet, you'll get reimbursed if it doesn't hit, up to $200. It doesn't matter how much or as little as you want to bet. It's your first bet only, and you can get back up to $200. And if you win, it's a non-factor, right? And we try to give out winners on this show, Johnny. And we're going to go with the under on Dean Letourneau. I think the number for him is 31 and a half as a pick. We've been talking about Letourneau on this show for a couple of days. I think we're going to get him tomorrow on our show, which I think would be good to balance out a lot of the BU. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get Jay Pandolfo and Joe Pereira on the show tomorrow. I know you will not be here. You'll be at a bachelor party, the head and the associate coach at BU. We're going to try to get Ryan Warsawski tomorrow as well. Him and I have talked. He's trying to sort of make it work with his schedule. It kind of depends on if San Jose has anything going on meeting-wise tomorrow. But we might have a bunch of good guests for you tomorrow. But Letourneau, the guy who we have as our Betway bet of the day, I think he's going to easily go before 31. To me, that's a safe bet. And a good way to find a little bit of value on a guy who I think is going to go, somewhere in the 20s. I think 31 and a half is too high. I mean, he's 6'7". Yeah. And he skates incredibly well. And every GM I talk to, especially from pick 15 to 25, they're all looking at this guy. The guys in the 25s are like, God, we hope nobody swings for this kid at 18. Because at 25, a team like the Boston Bruins, a kid who's going to BC and he's going to be in their backyard, who's 6'7", you're looking at that kid going, this kid could be a home run for us in 3 years. After he kind of develops a little bit in college. So hopefully we'll have him on tomorrow. If we do, we might have to lower the mics because the kid is a literal monster, 6'7". I'm looking at him when he got off the plane and I'm like, maybe you were supposed to go to the NBA draft. This kid is really tall. So that's our Betway bet of the day. Please play responsibly, 19 years of age or older. And the offer continues to only be available outside of Ontario. So if you're Ontario based, we're sorry, we can't help you out. Hopefully next year, Betway will have some good stuff for the people of Ontario. I think that's all we got for today, Johnny. I know you had travel woes. We did have a couple of nice dinners together. Last night was a great meal. You missed Catch the first night. Tyler was the beneficiary of the Catch reservation. We'll do that in New York. I still owe you. I lost a bet. I'll always pay up on my bet, even though it's starting to now feel like every time we're supposed to do it, you have some sort of excuse why you can't.
I mean, these are excuses that I enjoy. They're miserable excuses.
Oh, but they're excuses, Johnny. Excuses are excuses. All right. That's the way I look at it. So it was good having you here. You'll have some fun in Austin.
I do want to say one thing though, quick, just because I don't know when our next show is going to be.
Next week.
Is that, but we don't know what day yet.
Well, so That is a good point. And I was going to probably talk about this on the show tomorrow a little bit, but we are going to move to 1 day a week as a format. It isn't going to be live. It's going to be more of a true podcast type of show. We'll put some information out on social media from our social medias and from the Daily Faceoff social media pages, just letting you know we're going to start next week. And we're going to bring on a guest. We're going to talk to him for 45 minutes, a guy, a player, a manager, something like that. Maybe we'll get a good free agent, someone who's going to be involved in July 1. And we're going to go to 1 day a week in the summer, 4 shows a month. And then from there, we'll get back into the regular season next year. And come October, we'll be back in our 9 a.m. spot. We'll be doing 4 days a week. Don't forget, we have a big free agency show on July 1 on the Daily Faceoff. That'll be 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tyler Yaremchuk hosting. We'll have Frank on our insider cam. And then Carter Hutton, our favorite goaltender at the DFO, and I will be on the main panel. We've also got an East and a West panel that Tyler will be cutting to talk about when signings happen that are, directly affecting teams in their market, teams in their region. We'll get reactions. So we will have big plans on the Daily Faceoff YouTube channel, along with Twitter, Instagram, Facebook Live. We're everywhere where we stream these shows. So you will not want to miss our show on July 1. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. We've seen that subscriber count on the YouTube page the last 2 weeks even. The growth has been awesome. So hit that subscribe button. If you're here with us right now in this episode, like the episode. It helps it climb up with the algorithms. It helps us with our sponsors so we can be at places like this in Vegas. So as always, we know it wasn't our normal time. We appreciate you riding and rolling with us. Jonny, good job this week. Safe travels to Austin. Don't do anything stupid in Austin. It's kind of sad we won't have Monday morning to hear about.
It's like my first actual friend bachelor.
How much you strike out while you're in Austin. We'll have to maybe talk about that on episode 1 of the show. I know a lot of our listeners, they're invested.
It's the worst wingman on the planet.
They're invested in your strikeouts. They really are. I mean, whether it's Catherine in the chat, Olivia in the chat, whether it's Jeremiah in the chat, they get invested when you either get stood up or you strike out or you go get asked for the coffee date instead of the dinner date. So we do need to keep people updated on that.
He's really bad at building my self-esteem up.
You'll have fun in Austin.
Yeah, it's on this show. I'm a degenerate gambler. I can't.
You are a gambler. I've seen you at the tables.
I haven't stepped foot in one. I mean, I've been in a casino, but I haven't sat at one table.
I've actually done well on the tables.
I've been really good.
I've done well on the tables.
I've been on some
maybe
really good
before
behavior.
you leave, I'll give you a little allowance so you can have some fun and
just blow it in 5 minutes. Yeah.
Anyways,
we're a little off topic.
Thanks for riding with us today. We really appreciate it. We're back tomorrow, same time, 12:45 Eastern, right after DFO Live with Tyler and Frank. Those guys are probably going to be even busier tomorrow because more trades are going to happen. We'll come on right after. Well, I will with a couple of guests. Maybe Tyler will sit in on a segment or two. Morning Cup of Hockey. I haven't actually asked him yet, but I'm volunteering him live just to put him on the hot seat. Anyways, everybody have a great day. Enjoy the coverage on Daily Faceoff, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Saravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.